Gaius, a brilliant sorcerer, laments that he cannot grow stronger with the 3 magical crests. He was born with creation power and rapid firing, so he decides to reincarnate in the future, reborn 5,000 years later as Matthias. He gains the 4th crest, close combat, which is regarded as the weak Saint crest. At the time, Matthias travels to the city after deciding to join the 2nd Royal Academy, where he discovers that magical knowledge has drastically decreased. He meets fellow Academy candidates Lori and Alma and enchants a magical sword for Lori, who develops feelings for him after defeating Knight Captain Guile with the sword and demonstrating his advanced combat magic. Matthias is accepted into the academy along with Lori and Alma. Headmaster Edward requests that he teach the other students his wordless casting, a skill that is typically frowned upon in academic circles. In time for the next inter-academy competition. During the competition, Matthias realizes one of the prestigious first Academy students, Devlis, is a demon and fights with him, exposing his true nature to the audience. He realizes that the decline in magical knowledge and wordless casting must have been caused by demons. In order to weaken humanity after he nearly drove demons extinct 5,000 years ago, the king personally thanks Matthias for defeating a demon, despite the fact that it was hardly a challenge to Matthias requests access to the kingdom's dungeons as his reward. The king reveals that the kingdom's most powerful sorcerers vanished after the demons' defeat, leading Matthias to believe they were demons who infiltrated human society to destabilize it. Matthias, unable to remain hidden any longer, decides to gather armies to attack the kingdom. As a result, he obtains the king's permission to continue teaching wordless casting while gathering the materials needed to cast a magical barrier of protection over the city. To gather resources, Matthias decides to raid a dungeon with Lori and Alma, teaching Alma how to use a bow and Lori how to craft and enchant weapons and armor. Matthias descends on a much deeper floor alone to gather adamantite for the barrier after reaching floor 10 and increasing their levels. While there, he also defeats a boss monster, attracting the attention of several demons. Lori and Alma informed Matthias that his former identity as Gaius is worshipped as a god of Magi. After selling the boss monster's Magi stone, which Matthias believes is too small for the barrier, but everyone else believes is large enough to be a national treasure, he divides the proceeds equally with Lori and Alma. Two demons appear in the city to avenge Devili's death. Lori and Alma divert the attention of the weaker demon, allowing Matthias to defeat the stronger demon on his own. The king rewards them once more, this time with the location of every known dungeon and a cash reward for Lori and Alma. Matthias notices a demon using a surveillance spell to watch the throne room and manages to injure the demon on the other side. The demon's voice is recognized by the king as Erhard, his former mage captain. With Erhard's location discovered, Matthias decides to track him down. However, because it would take a year to travel the distance, Matthias takes Lori and Alma into the mountains and introduces them to Iris, the darkness dragon, who, despite being terrifying to the girls, is one of Gaia's defeated enemies. She revealed that years ago, an unintentional magical explosion reverted human society to the dark ages, as well as damaging her wings, which Matthias is now repairing. They travel the distance to Erhard in a single day. Thanks to Iris's assistance, Matthias reveals himself from behind his invisibility spell after breaking into Erhard's home or heart attacks, but is quickly weakened by the Magi toxin on Alma's arrows, severely affecting his magic and making defeating him easy. Erhard refuses to believe Matthias is the one who injured him because of how long it should have taken the real Matthias to travel from the academy to his home. Matthias also exposes a stronger mist demon hiding in the forest and curses the demon with a spell to overload his magic, causing him to explode from force of his own magic. After a short fight, the explosion reveals a dragon vein pillar buried in the earth, a massive crystal capable of tapping into the magical power trapped within the earth. The demons intended to summon a monster army just outside the city. Going back to the academy, Matthias is to vouch for Iris's admission to the academy in human form. Iris fails the written exam because she is unfamiliar with human behavior, but she is accepted after using unusual methods to defeat Guile in a sword duel and her magic nearly destroying the academy arena, which Matthias promises to repair. With only second academy students, barrier preparation moves slowly. The king requests assistance from the first academy, but headmaster Facus refuses to work with their inferior academy. Facus agrees to hold a second inter-academy competition as long as Matthias does not compete. Facus sends 50 students to compete against 5 students from second academy, but they easily win thanks to wordless casting. The king, who had been watching, notices that Facus has been forcing his students to disregard his order to switch to wordless casting and arrests Facus students who disliked him gladly collaborate with second academy and learn wordless casting. Matthias takes the girls back into the dungeon much deeper this time and summons a dragon with the help of Iris magic. After a long battle and the use of all their new skills, the dragon is defeated and yields a magi stone large enough for the barrier. This also determines that Iris has improved sufficiently to become an official team member. Iris uses her human body to train to be a better fighter, while Matthias and Luri use the dragon's resources to make swords for themselves, a new bow for Alma, and a spear capable of withstanding her power. As Atheas begins to build the barrier, demons attack, forcing Matthias to delegate city defense to Lori and Alma, while he and Iris begin distributing adamantine to complete the barrier. The students keep the demons at bay, while Luri creates an arrow for Alma that can defeat the first demon to attack. Demons arrive after his death, but Matthias, having finished the barrier in time, defeats them and activates the barrier, preventing demons from ever entering the city again. Unfortunately, the demons' army of monsters summoned using another dragon vein pillar is still outside the city. The students use wordless casting to defeat the first wave of monsters, then retreat so Matthias and his team can take on the more powerful monsters. This manipulates the most powerful monster, a void eater, that consumes other monsters to grow by feeding it specific spells so that it will provide more useful resources. Once defeated, Matthias decides to leave the academy after defeating the void eater in order to find the dragon vein pillars. Edward lets him go, but keeps him on the list as a scholarship student in case Matthias's adventures land him in political trouble, which the academy can then protect him. Alma Marie and Iris are also given scholarships to accompany him on his quest. Matthias decides to explore Melchia's dungeon, but discovers that an adventurer city has been built over it since his reincarnation. Alma and Luri try to avoid passing through a forest on their journey, but they inadvertently pique Matthias's interest when they mention an intelligent monster that lives there. Matthias easily defeats the monster, as he always does. When the group arrives in Melchia, they discover that the Melchian Lord has been making the city unsafe and controls the Adventurer Guild, which means that adventurers must do whatever job he assigns them. The majority of the adventurers are severely injured and Matthias must heal them. Matthias discovers that the previous lord died suspiciously, leading him to suspect that the new lord is a demon intent on making adventuring as dangerous as possible. In order to eliminate strong adventurers, he sends a secret letter to Edward to deliver to the king, then plans to spend the next day hunting the monster that injured the adventurers. However, Matthias and Luri do not sleep at all due to the awkwardness of all of them sharing a room together. Regardless, they easily defeat the monster, attracting the Lord's attention, who appears to have spies in the guild as well as adventurers working directly for him who begin following them. Matthias leads the explorers into a trap where Iris kills them. The king replies by sending his royal proxy Ike to order Matthias to arrest Lord Dokiel. Matthias arrests Dokiel and Ike takes him to the king. Matthias discovers the dungeon's dragon vein and summons a monster horde outside the city. Entering the dungeon, Matthias leaves Luri to cancel the demon's spell on the vein, while Iris and Alma guard him. Matthias learns from the demon's telepathic conversations that a higher-ranked demon is advising the demon on how to beat Matthias. The Master also knows about Gaius the Sorcerer, but is unsure if Matthias is gay as reincarnation. Even with his Master's help, Matthias beheads the demon. Flurry restores the vein, dispelling the monsters. Atheas and the Master Demon threaten each other via telepathy and agree to meet in the future. A real challenge excites Matthias. Matthias has captured the demon's magical signature in a Magistone, but he needs Gaius' device to track him. The device is currently across the border in the Redenia Alliance, and he needs permission from the king to cross. The academy has been demolished to make way for a new upgraded academy with permission to cross the border. Matthias discovers his device is in focus region, a magically powerful area. Only a rank adventurers are allowed to enter. Jill was an adventurer. Ran Desabove is obsessed with fighting. He promotes Iris, Lori, and Alma, but fights Matthias, a famous demon slayer, and yet despite Gillis being the strongest opponent Matthias has faced, Matthias still triumphs. Jill was as grateful for the advice, but irritated at having to read books to learn. He warns them focus is dangerous and adventurers go missing. Border guards and Fokia immediately try to cast demon tracking spells on them. Bandits attack, but are quickly slain. Lori and Alma also doze off on the way to Fokia. The group detects 32 disguised devils, a type of demon that lacks magic and prefers fight in groups instead of eluding the town guards. Matthias discovers a tunnel upon entering Fokia. They discover citizens hypnotized to work in a large factory. Infiltrating the factory, they discover it is refining lank and demon ore to collect 1 ton of refined ore, which can destroy an entire town. Takes decades. Fighting devils is risky because they can use sense share. So if one knows about them, all 30 to know. The group begins killing the devils one by one until only 10 remain. The remaining 10 decide to blow up the city with ore, only for Gillis to appear. Matthias is pleased to see Gillis has already improved his spell casting. The devil is defeated but not yet dead. The devil sends a message saying he will be resurrected soon, then disintegrates. Matthias realizes the master demon responsible for Melkia was using necromancy to control the devil in order to spread the message. Gillis appoints the foreman of the factory as the new lord of Fokia. Continuing on their journey, they arrive at the ruins that conceal the device, and Matthias is forced to conceal the fact that the ruins were built by him using his device. Matthias confirms that the master demon's name is Zaryas and that he was led a long time ago because he was too powerful to kill. Matthias is convinced that he is too weak to defeat Zaryas, and that even if he were their battle would likely destroy the world and drive humanity to extinction. Desperate, Matthias uses the device to look for a sword he forged a long time ago on Light to discover that it is somewhere back home in the king's treasury. Zaryas is finally resurrected and flies to the kingdom to prevent Matthias from obtaining the sword. Alma and Lori search the treasury. Matthias can keep up with Zaryas, but he is injured and he fears that defeating Zaryas and inhumanity will cost him his life. Zaryas reveals that all of the demons Matthias has defeated have been resurrected inside the barrier to kill Lori and Alma. Edward and the academy students save Lori and Alma and throw the sword to Matthias, but Zaryas stabs him. Matthias resurrects, revealing that his sword was his most powerful creation. If the wielder dies, their life force is used to resurrect them. Zaryas is defeated, but before he dies, he warns Matthias that another demon will simply replace him as a reward. The king grants them access to the treasury once more. Matthias unearths an adamantine arrow he fashioned in a previous life, but the matching bow is missing. He follows the bow to the Isis company, which melted it down because they didn't know the value of adamantine, so Matthias buys all of their scrap metal as well as some magical stones for the girls. Guile tells Matthias about NC Dent, in which their neighboring Seal Empire was attacked by an army of doll soldiers. Because of the complex magic, Matthias deduces that a demon is to blame and may be in control of Seal. Larry later suspects Matthias of kissing her, but he's just made her a necklace out of one of the jewels everyone decides to travel to Seal for their next adventure. After they have fully recovered, like and subscribe. See you on the next one.